Hello and welcome to Exoprise. In this video, we will demonstrate complete monitoring of the Microsoft Office 365 suite. Only Exoprise provides full coverage for synthetics and real user monitoring. The use of 8 to 10 different synthetic sensors per site provides Exoprise customers with an ideal start. These locations may include corporate headquarters, branch offices, or work from home settings with knowledge workers. In today's session, we will cover the capabilities of synthetic sensors starting with the Azure AD API sensor and ending with Teams AV headless browser sensor. Exoprise effectively monitors the health, availability, and performance of applications such as Azure AD, Exchange Online, Teams, etc. via synthetic sensors and captures real-time metric data in CloudReady. Most sensors are a single sensor credit, but some are more, so IT administrators should obtain anywhere between 12 to 18 sensor credits per location, depending upon how deeply they want to monitor. Typically, a single virtual machine or laptop with 4 GB of RAM and Windows supports such a configuration easily. Finally, we will see how Exoprise Office 365 Service Communications API and Twitter feed provide real-time status updates from Microsoft in a single pane of glass. So let's get started. Exoprise offers a wide range of Office 365 sensors. Once you have successfully created your CloudReady account, click the Sensors tab on the left and select Add Sensor. Enter Office 365 in the search box. On the right, you will see all sensors intended for Office 365 monitoring. Azure Active Directory is a multi-tenant cloud directory and identity management service. In your business, employees who work from home remotely or the office rely on Azure AD to log into multiple Office 365 services and access them through a single set of cloud credentials. Monitoring Azure AD within Exoprise is an OAuth-based graph API test. Error warnings from the Azure AD sensor are usually an early indication that other headless browser-based sensors and ultimately end users are affected. Azure AD serves as the backbone of the Office 365 system. Even if you do not use Azure AD for a single sign-on, it is the catalog for Office 365 identities, profile access, and permissions. In other words, there is a massive dependence on Azure AD and that its uptime, availability, and performance from multiple locations is hypercritical to anyone using Office 365 or Azure. This makes Azure AD an important sensor that can be tested easily within CloudReady. CloudReady can automatically configure the most important default alarms for the Azure AD sensor after the sensor has been deployed and has run for some time. Upon successful setup, the Azure AD sensor uses the Microsoft Graph API to perform queries on behalf of the registered user. For each query, advanced performance metrics such as total runtime, get profile, and low-level metrics such as TCP/IP connect time, time to first byte, SSL negotiation, and DNS lookup time are captured to quickly diagnose Azure AD problems. Correlate both the metrics together and compare individual metric performance against the crowd in real time. The email graph sensor tests and monitors Exchange Online using the new Graph API. As businesses continue to operate remotely, it is more important than ever to have a robust email communication infrastructure for collaboration. When email access is down or slow, it impacts end user productivity and businesses suffer. CloudReady Email Graph API sensor synthetically tests Microsoft Graph authentication, permission access, uptime, and mailbox availability no matter what location. Monitor Office 365 mail queues, spam filters, and troubleshoot slow email delivery for Exchange Online. Exoprise emulates a real user utilizing Exchange Online end-to-end and monitoring the entire experience. The email graph sensor sends synthetic emails between the mail platform and cloud-ready autoresponders to test the email delivery, reliability, and performance of the underlying infrastructure. Once an email is generated, the sensor confirms that the message has been sent by checking the corresponding folders and headers on the outbound side and waits for a response. The sensor analyzes the autoresponder response to gather hop-by-hop message queue timings. A large message transfer agent MTA outbound time is usually an indicator of issues with outbound SMTP filters or the provider, while a large MTA inbound time can signal issues with inbound mail processing queue. Exoprise gathers crowdsourced MTA data so that customers can easily compare their Exchange server environment performance with message queue benchmarks. Such comparisons are particularly useful during ongoing SMTP migration or general monitoring. Exoprise Outlook Web Access OVA sensor tests and monitors Office 365's Outlook web app with a headless browser. The OVA sensor synthetically tests and emulates a real user signing into the email system and collects backend login time metrics for end-to-end performance and availability monitoring. OVA is easy to use and set up for occasional users who may need quick access to Exchange email or calendar. Exoprise CloudReady supports monitoring OVA from private sites behind the firewall and public clouds. The sensor works across various server and single sign-on solutions to fully test OVA and Exchange Online application delivery. This allows to ensure that your Exchange and Office 365 tenant is working 100% correctly. By sending test messages to Exoprise Autoresponder, customers can ensure that OVA mail delivery works properly and there are no slow email queues regardless of spam protection. Discover errors related to slowness or login problems with your OVA application by clicking the Errors tab. Sometimes there may be periodic network transient errors or service outages, either with the ISP, local LAN, or Microsoft, that can soon resolve itself. Alarms can be configured to look for consecutive repeated errors. Quickly compare individual metrics such as backend login time, UI login time, empty interval, latency, etc. with crowd data and find performance bottlenecks. Check the sensor health and uptime status trends in the availability page. Track alarms over a specific period and get a summarized overview of sensor errors for SLA recovery and management. The Microsoft Portal sensor tests and monitors the Office 365 web portal for proactive performance and availability by automatically signing in as a real user from Exoprise private or public cloud sites and navigating through the portal. The sensor captures rich and contextual network performance data between the site and application. Within the Login and Render tab, customers can easily access and analyze the Office 365 full portal login time trends over some time. The authentication time dictates how long it takes for a user to do a single sign-on in the portal. Identify and compare Office 365 portal metrics such as DOM, loaded time, initial layout time, time to first byte, CPU percentage, and so on with Exoprise's unique crowdsourced data. The Network Path Performance or NPP tab displays users quick information about the current trace. Check for default alarm setups for the sensor and the corresponding error notifications in real time. A large DOM increases Office 365 web page load time and reduces performance, thus impacting the end user experience. Exoprise helps to optimize DOM and improve network efficiency by monitoring page layout metrics in real time. Time to first byte or TTFB is a good indicator of server response time and should be close to TCP IP connect time. If TTFB is high, it's an indicator of an overloaded server. Microsoft 365 SharePoint is a web-based solution for businesses to collaborate and share knowledge. SharePoint end-to-end monitoring is a headless browser complete coverage test that emulates a real user logging in, uploading, and downloading files. Exoprise proactively captures logon times and detailed page metrics for faster troubleshooting. Installing a SharePoint sensor on a private site is easy. For more information, see the link below. After successful installation, the Logon tab provides end users with detailed and crowd-based benchmark information on the SharePoint logon duration. While the logon time is critical as part of the overall login process, managed and federated login time deal with Office 365 and on-premise identity service respectively. Access and control to SharePoint can be protected by a cloud-based or on-premise single sign-on solution. Exoprise recommends setting up sensors for each. As part of each synthetic run, the SharePoint sensor captures, records, and aggregates all requests, transactions, and latency measurements between the SharePoint server and the Internet Information Services web server. The health score reveals the health of the underlying SharePoint server and is monitored in real time. The SharePoint sensor also emulates file uploading and downloading to test network and server performance for latency, bandwidth, and access times, analyze overtime trends and errors, and compare performance with other cloud-ready customers. SharePoint DOM and initial layout time provide page performance and loading statistics. Track and correlate data with location metrics over time and understand end user experience with SharePoint for file collaboration. Finally, the Connect tab provides insights into the responsiveness and latency of SharePoint web servers and network resources by capturing time to first byte, connect time, and SSL negotiation time that are critical to a smooth browsing experience. Exoprise supports Microsoft 365 OneDrive monitoring similar to SharePoint with OAuth credentials as well as full experience monitoring via a headless browser. The sensor emulates a real user signing into OneDrive to collect end-to-end performance metrics such as health scores, server latency, login times, etc. across the infrastructure and measure optimal availability. After successful deployment of the OneDrive sensor, head over to the Logon tab, which provides real-time statistics on page login information and the time it takes to log on to OneDrive server. The managed and federated time provides single sign-on visibility into Office 365 Cloud and on-premise identity service respectively. Check alarms and errors generated over a certain period of time. The Data Point Details tab provides instant comparison between individual metrics and the crowd to find anomalies. Detect the slowest hop and trace data in the Network Performance tab. The synthetic OneDrive sensor captures and aggregates all requests made between the OneDrive server and the Internet Information Service IIS web server to perform latency and health measurements. Benchmark and compare OneDrive performance issues and outages with global and regional cloud-ready crowd data. Discover how long it takes to upload or download a file from the OneDrive location to assess the end user's experience. Higher times may indicate that a busy OneDrive server is handling many requests. The performance of OneDrive is critical for end users who want to store and manage their documents in the cloud. Exoprise captures page loading statistics and DOM details under the Page Layout tab. If the pages load slowly relative to the mass, be sure to look for errors or additional dependencies. Low-level network intelligence for the OneDrive and the underlying IIS server is delivered through metrics such as connection time, SSL negotiation, and time to first byte. Troubleshoot poor OneDrive network performance, proxy servers, and connection problems with these metrics and analyze long-term trends. Microsoft 365 Teams is an enterprise collaboration platform that combines video, chat, voice, and file sharing for today's workforce. Exoprise CloudReady Teams Audio Video, Teams AV conferencing sensor utilizes WebRTC technology and an automated AV bot to monitor the health and performance of Microsoft Teams. Using Teams AV sensors in your environment is critical to proactively test, benchmark, and monitor network capacity, packet loss, VoIP performance, and most importantly, outages. If your business uses tools like Zoom or Ring Central, deploy VoIP sensors to Azure and or AWS to simulate and detect network packet loss, congestion, and more. While most sensors cost 1 credit, advanced multi-party AV conference sensors like Teams are 5 credits due to the ongoing maintenance and coordination effort of the Exoprise AV bot. Visit the link below to learn how to successfully install the Exoprise Teams AV sensor. After the deployment of the Teams AV sensor, the sensor interacts with Microsoft 365 Teams by creating a conference meeting in the Teams channel and inviting the Exoprise AV bot to participate. The bot starts collecting high and low threshold WebRTC statistics and streams audio and video content into the conference that the sensor is monitoring. Collected metrics can be analyzed by IT administrators to quickly diagnose Microsoft Teams audio video performance issues such as packet and frame loss, high latency, and round trip time, etc. By default, Exoprise CloudReady platform automatically configures a set of alarms that IT teams consider to be critical for their environment. Additional alarms can be created for any sensor or sensor type and managed easily in the alarm dashboard. For more information, visit help.exoprise.com. Transient outages or common errors can occur during the team's AV sensor run and depends on the state of your network or ISP between the sensor location and web servers. Errors could also occur if something has changed within the environment or tenant. Visit help.exoprise.com and learn more about sensor errors. Microsoft Teams outage on April 27th of this year due to a configuration change was detected early by Exoprise sensors almost an hour before Microsoft acknowledged and released its report. End users trying to log into the Teams portal were witnessing something like this. Exoprise sensors, which run 24 hours a day and monitor Teams data, were able to generate early morning email alert around 6 a.m. Eastern Time. The email provides a detailed analysis of the repeated authentication and login error of Microsoft Teams AV conference sensors. By accessing this immediate valuable information, IT administrators can notify their customers immediately and businesses can effectively manage the end user experience of remote employees. CloudReady monitoring dashboard provided instant visibility and wide coverage into Teams' unavailability and imminent outage scenario. Moving on to the Microsoft Teams sensor dashboard, the AV Stream section provides insights into the end user's audio and video quality experience by tracking metrics such as jitter, packet loss, and bitrate. Increased and steep patterns in metric behavior can be seen in the graph for given period. The errors tab below shows the failures in team authentication on April 27th and matches with the previously displayed Exoprise email alert. Comparing individual sensor metrics with Exoprise crowdsourcing data helps pinpoint the problem. In this case, the crowd metrics show the same failure pattern as a tenant's team sensor. A close match of the metric values indicates a common problem with Microsoft Teams or Azure infrastructure. The maximum round trip time or RTT is a measure of latency from the perspective of WebRTC client and the maximum round trip time seen during the session. During the outage that started from 4 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, high and sustained levels of max RTT above 120 millisecond can be observed. Max RTT increases from 93 millisecond to 173 millisecond by midday. The video frames per second drops by 30% at the start of Teams downtime and remains choppy throughout the session as detected by the Exoprise sensor. Audio transmission is always preferred to video transmission for optimal performance as audio samples are smaller and consistent in packet size. Microsoft Teams AV sensor continues to collect the underlying login, authentication, and total runtime during the outage and reports the numbers under the Data Point Details tab to compare them with the crowd. The Page Layout tab bundles metric data relating to the initial layout and DOM loaded time for the Teams sensor. After proactively detecting Teams failure, which started early in the morning, both metrics display elevated values consistent with the crowd. Finally, the TCP/IP connection time to first byte or TTFP and SSL timings are also recorded as part of the synthetic sensor run of the Microsoft Teams AV. The Connect tab provides crucial insights into Teams AV server connect and proxy timings during the outage and the corresponding impact on end user experience. Correlate metrics from other tabs by clicking the More button and analyze the data in real time for faster decision making, all in a single pane of glass. Exoprise provides health and uptime status for each sensor type under the availability page on the left. Track the performance of the Microsoft Teams audio video sensor running in a tenant through a variety of charts. Get instant visibility and a summary overview of Team AV's operational and runtime errors over a 30 or 90-day period for SLA recovery and management. Exoprise Teams Message Monitoring Sensor ensures the availability and performance of Microsoft Teams messages and posts using a headless browser test. While synthetic monitoring of Teams call quality is essential, businesses also need to consider the optimal delivery of messages to end users. The login and render page shows the average time it takes to log into Teams and access the homepage successfully. The Teams message sensor measures page time in milliseconds, compares it to the crowd benchmark, and shows the general trend over time. The Exoprise Teams message sensor sends a test message to the Teams default channel and measures the average time it takes to create a successful message. The message is later deleted from the channel for cleanup and the time recorded for further analysis. Errors are captured during each interaction. Page layout metrics such as DOM loaded time and initial layout time help to measure the overall performance of the team's web page from an end user's perspective. Correlate these metrics with those of other tabs and look for dependencies that could slow down the delivery of the team's page. Connection time metrics give IT teams visibility into low-level networking statistics such as time to first byte, proxy connect time, SSL negotiation time, etc. These metrics are critical to quickly diagnose network failures and slowdowns, if any. The Office 365 Service Communications API and Twitter feed integration extend the monitoring capabilities of Exoprise CloudReady by providing IT administrators a 360-degree view into the health, availability, and performance of a particular Office 365 service. CloudReady uses the OAuth API protocol to authorize the access to real-time status of your Office 365 tenant and displays the information in the CloudReady dashboard with widgets such as Office 365 Messages and Office 365 Status. In addition, the Twitter feed widget provides instant status update and notifications from Microsoft to support in rapid troubleshooting and effective incident management in the event of outages and related performance issues. Exoprise offers three new dashboard layouts exclusively for Office 365. These predefined layouts are configurable, easy to use, and allow end users to select a variety of widgets for different purposes. No other provider offers comprehensive coverage for all of Office 365 operations along with crowdsourced benchmarks. Starting with the first layout, the Office 365 layout provides a holistic and a high-level service health overview of underlying applications such as Azure AD, Teams, SharePoint, OneDrive, etc. Built-in predefined widgets allow IT managers to instantly locate potential problems with O365 services in global regions. The Office 365 Messages widget displays the recent incident messages and resolution statuses from the Microsoft support team, while the Office 365 Status widget shows the individual service health status for Microsoft applications. Create custom dashboards within CloudReady to include the feed widgets and receive constant service updates. The Office 365 usage layout goes a step further, providing low-level usage details and consumption patterns for various Microsoft services. In addition to usage and notification messages, the Office 365 Usage and Synthetics tab combines hundreds of low-level sensor metrics for various Office 365 services in the form of metric graphs. IT teams can quickly correlate multiple sets of actionable and real-time data to monitor their tenant infrastructure. So there you have it. We covered a variety of different Exoprise synthetic sensors and service health integration for faster diagnosis and rapid troubleshooting of your Microsoft 365 tenant. More information is available at www.exoprise.com. Thank you and have fun monitoring with CloudReady.